Welcome to Seven Figure Tea, the podcast where we discuss the benefits and challenges of making the leap from being an employee to becoming your own boss. I'm your host, Heather D, and today we're exploring the flip side of the coin for those considering this exciting and challenging journey that is entrepreneurship. So let's talk about some of the pros of transitioning from a traditional 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship. First and foremost, one of the major advantages that I think most creatives gravitate to, or most people, is the ability to be your own boss. If you're listening, this is why you're here. I know why you're here. You want to call the shots. You want creative authority. You want to be able to make decisions. You have a true desire to have your own business, and it keeps you up at night that you don't. You want freedom to set your own schedule, freedom to pursue your passions, and make decisions that ultimately align with your vision and your values. One of my values is that I am a Christian and I'm in church on Sunday. So the jobs that I have had in the past that require me to work on the weekends don't align or didn't align with my values, nor did I want to work on the weekend. But speaking specifically of values, it didn't align with my values. I wanted to be at my church and I wanted to be singing, doing what I do there and being and contributing part of my purpose there. I didn't want to be at work. It didn't align with my values. And to be crystal clear, if you get more than 2 weeks vacation as part of your offer, you're a unicorn, because we're living in a society where employers believe that 2 weeks of vacation out of 52 weeks in a whole year is generous. They think that's generous. And some employers don't even give you sick time. Like, they roll that into your vacation time, and God forbid you get sick. You'll be sick on vacation. So what I'm trying to say is being an entrepreneur allows you to follow your dreams and to build something that you're truly passionate about without that work stress, right? I have a good friend. Let me tell you a little story. I have a good friend who crochets. She makes beautiful pieces, like super unique, and they take days to create, if not weeks. And I know, because I've researched for her, that there is a huge market for her to sell these pieces. And I know that she can absolutely replace her full-time income and the mega stress that comes with it to pursue her own business. That's one friend. I have another friend who's super talented musically, but he really struggles with working for other people. He changes jobs frequently, not because he has authority issues, I don't think, but because he feels out of place, I guess, having to do work for money alone, and that messes with his head. I get it. I totally get it. Whether it's starting a business in an industry you love, or solving a problem you genuinely care about, or doing that one thing that you lay in bed staring at the ceiling thinking about all night, entrepreneurship gives you the opportunity to make a significant impact where you are. You don't have to be anything else but yourself to be successful. You really just have to grab the bull by the horns and stop doubting yourself. Stop thinking that you can't do it. Stop thinking that nobody's going to buy what you're selling. Stop thinking that you're undervaluing yourself in your mind before you're even giving yourself a chance. And to be honest with you, I'm going to give you a little secret. Anything other than being fully transparent and authentic isn't marketable. Like, fake isn't marketable. Copying someone else isn't marketable. Sounding like someone else isn't marketable. It's just not. And a 9-to-5 is not going to give you the autonomy that you want to make a significant impact. And it is, if I dare say, inhibiting and limiting your creative potential and your income potential, which takes me right into my next pro, which is the potential for financial independence. Now, as an entrepreneur, you have a unique opportunity to not only increase your earnings beyond what a regular paycheck might offer, but you have this opportunity to create multiple streams of income. Like, over here, we aim for 7, but this increased earning potential can provide a greater financial stability and a chance to build true wealth, right? Because wealth isn't just what you have in your bank account. Wealth is being able to take that person on a day without requesting approval. Wealth is having peace of mind. Wealth is not stressing to the point of physical degradation, right? Wealth is more than money. Now, the benefits of entrepreneurship sound enticing, but transitioning to entrepreneurship also comes with its fair share of challenges. And it wouldn't be fair of me if I only gave you the pros of entrepreneurship, because I do that. But the challenges. So let's explore some of the cons. One significant drawback that I think people really fear, and it is, I don't know if it's the number one reason, but it's a pretty big reason why people don't pursue entrepreneurship. It is the uncertainty and financial risk associated with starting a business. Unlike your W-2 job where you get a check every week or every other week, entrepreneurship involves initial investment. So you got to pay some money out of your pocket to get started. Like, there has to be a level of financial planning. And there are going to be potential periods where you don't have money or you have very little money. And it's crucial to have a backup plan and be prepared for the possibility of that financial instability during the beginning stages of a business. For a lot of us, our backup plan is the 9 to 5, right? Additionally, as an entrepreneur, you will bear the full responsibility from marketing to sales to finance. Like, this can be overwhelming and time consuming, especially if you're not equipped and you don't have the right systems in place, or you don't have the necessary skills or knowledge to be able to do it. And then add to that you don't have the money to pay someone who is knowledgeable or skilled at doing what you can't. It's essential to be prepared to wear multiple hats and continuously learn and adapt. For some of us, we have to take an extra step between wanting to start a business and actually starting a business to learn the things that we don't know if we can't afford to pay someone to do them for us. Now, when I started my first businesses or business ventures, if you will, I took it upon myself to learn all the things that I didn't know, because I didn't have no money, y'all. I was broke. Whew, broke. Like, listen, I was broken in a dollar bill and a church offering after Christmas. I was broke. Listen, broken and broke. I didn't have any money. So, but I said there was something in me that kept telling me, like, you have to keep doing this though. Like, if you don't do this, something's going to be wrong. You're not going to feel fulfilled. If you don't do this thing, something's going to be missing. And so my mind went to, what do I do in place of having money? And in order to achieve what I'm trying to do, in order to reach my goal, what is it that I have to exchange in the place of money to get what I want? And it was time. It was time. It was time to learn, time to really understand the parts of business. And some of that was trial and error, just doing it and realizing I was bad at it, and then trying to find someone or something or some class or some kind of training so that I would be better at it, because I just didn't have the money to do it, right? Some of us, we're going to have to take that extra step and spend some time learning and preparing ourselves mentally to move to the next stages of actually starting a business. And that's doing all of the operational things, opening your LLC, getting your website, your domain, and the branding and a logo. Before you do all of that, you have to know whether or not you can do this, right? Okay. I'm done with the cons, y'all. If none of the cons scare you, then I'd say try entrepreneurship. For me, I was always challenged. So this is my why. I was always challenged by the systemic inequalities and inequities in corporate America. And for those of you who haven't seen my face or haven't followed me on social media, have never seen what I look like, and you're just hearing me for the first time, I am a Black woman. And corporate America is not the most, how shall I put this? they're jerks when it comes to Black people. So, and I'm not saying that that's everyone, but a lot of the experiences I have had have been very difficult because I'm the only Black person that works at that job. And people around me, managers included, executives included, don't understand that the things they say are racist or racially motivated. They don't think it's insensitive in any manner at all. And it can make it a very stressful work environment for someone who does not have anyone else to kind of relate to, connect with, it, or talk to about the stress or the struggle that's happening, right? Again, we keep it a buck on Seven Figure Tea because, aside from that, I don't want to take it too far down and dark. We'll do that in another episode. But the employers these days, they want you to do the most. They want to pay you the least. And let's not even go back to being a Black person or being a person of color or a female in the workplace. Another episode. But for real, the pressure of needing to provide for my children while also being like this undiscovered, untapped, creative mastermind, if you will, the steady paycheck monster was calling my name, guys. I was listening, but I really didn't want to hear it. I constantly had this inner conflict going on and this voice in my head saying, you ain't supposed to be here, right? And then I'm answering myself yeah, I know. This is one of the reasons that I started Seven Figure Streams, which is my digital design and coaching business. But it's also why I wanted to start this podcast. I've been a graphic designer and a web designer for many years. I've done the traditional education with a lot of debt thing. I've tried to go that route, but I've had the opportunity to work with a ton of clients on branding, social media, business coaching, and they all have the same concerns and fears and worries as I did when I started. And so I really felt the push over the last few months actually to have these conversations openly about the really challenging parts of entrepreneurship while you're trying to hold down a 9-to-5. Doing both, super hard, especially if you don't prepare and fortify yourself mentally, physically, financially for the challenges that will come up in entrepreneurship. You can't be a quitter. You can't take a break at the beginning, and you have to get up at 4:30 before you go to work and work on your business on your lunch break. And when you get home from work, you have to invest money and time. You have to sacrifice time with friends and doing stuff that you enjoy at the beginning when you're building the foundation of your business. But I guarantee you, if you stay consistent, if you have a solid strategy and a marketable product or service, you will start to see some of the benefits of putting in that work up front and making those sacrifices. The reward will come. So the ultimate question to you then becomes to work or not to work. And when I say work, I mean work a 9-to-5. It is essential to remember that this decision is not one size fits all. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. But it does require careful consideration, self-assessment upon self-assessment upon self-assessment. It absolutely requires a clear understanding of self, to be self-aware, and to understand the risks and rewards involved. You have to be 100%, 150%, 200% honest with yourself. Are you ready to do this? And if you're not, does that mean you just need to prepare more? Are you in that period where you need to learn and not start yet? Or is entrepreneurship really not for you? It's really important to keep an open mind. You have to be ready to learn from setbacks. And what I find has been super impactful to my own journey is that you surround yourself with a network of support of people and mentors who can guide you through your journey. That is foundational. You don't need people around you who are dream killers and unbelievers of your potential. You don't have time. And if nobody told you, I'm here to tell you, if you have people like this around you, cancel them. You'll thank me later. get you some dreamers, find you some creatives, some strategic risk takers, some people talking about the best is yet to come. You got to aim for greater, and you don't have the capacity for negativity. That wraps up today's episode of Seven Figure Tea. And I truly hope that this talk has inspired and provided some valuable insight for anybody considering taking the big leap into entrepreneurship. Remember, there isn't a right or wrong answer here. It ultimately depends on your personal goals, your risk appetite, and your entrepreneurial spirit. Not mine, not the next person, not the next social media influencer, your entrepreneurial spirit. And if you have to work until you don't have to work that 9 to 5. Like, just understand that the job is a means to an end, not a means to true wealth. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to stay connected for future episodes of Seven Figure Tea, where we dive deeper into the world of entrepreneurship, personal development, and defining our God-given purpose. I'm your host, Heather D., spilling the tea to hold tea, and nothing but the tea.